Hi guys, so today I'm going to show you how to use Pear Deck, which is an add-on that you could download, which goes to your Google Slides and allows you to make the slides interactive for the students. So you could either go ahead and incorporate this add-on to your existing Google Slides from your drive, or you can go ahead and create a new one. Let's go ahead and create a new one, just so you know what it's like from the beginning. So occasionally you'll have to reauthorize once you make your account, simply because it's using your Google account. Just make sure that every time you reauthorize, you're reauthorizing with the account that you logged in with, not whatever account is open on the computer. Otherwise, it'll give you an error. So every time you create a new one, first it'll open your existing Google Drive from whatever account you're signed in with Pear Deck. Once you make the account, you'll get this first slide that has a lot of information, basically making sure that it walks you through opening the add-on through the Google Slides, how to choose the different slides that you want to make it interactive, and then making sure that you know how to present it instead of just opening it through your Google Slides. So you can actually skip the whole login into Pear Deck once you've downloaded the add-on. You can go straight to your own slides, and then from here you go to add-ons and you put Pear Deck for Google Slides, open Pear Deck add-on. So let's go ahead and do that now. And as you can see, it's thinking, and where you usually have the theme option when you open a new Google Slides, you'll have the option to select interactive slides. So for our purposes, let's go to our template library. If you pay for the premium, you get a lot more templates and more different ways to interact with the students, but the free one's just fine. So it'll give you different ways of organizing and looking for interactive slides. You can go ahead and do beginning of lesson, during lesson, end of lesson. There's also critical thinking, social emotional learning, example questions, titles, or what is that? Littles. Oh, so K through 12. Okay. So this is the subject area column. So you can select interactive slides based on your subject area. Some of these actually work well with each other. For example, if I go to social studies, there's cause and effect, which would work perfectly fine for, let's say, English. So for example, let's go ahead and use this one. So here, let's say you're presenting your lesson, and if you want to take a quick poll to see if students are kind of following along or understanding what you have to say, you can ask a question. Let's say we're in English, you put, is Joe Hill the author's real name? Oh, actually that doesn't work. So you can put Joe Hill is Stephen King's son. So then the student will have the option of dragging their little dot. This is our version because we are the instructor. We don't get to move the stuff around, but it tells you right here, students drag the little icon. They'll be given a little circle that they can drag to either fact or opinion, or anywhere in between this graph, just to kind of give you an idea of what they're thinking or what they're leaning towards. So they don't have to make an actual decision or commit to something that they don't feel comfortable yet, but they can say, hey, I'm leaning towards this being an opinion rather versus a fact because I'm not sure, right? So as we know, Joe Hill is Stephen King's son. Just change his name. Also, you want to go ahead and make sure that you delete that first one because that's going to come up on your slides if you don't change it later. There are also ones where the students get to draw or type. So for example, here you put cause and effect. Let's say you're teaching cause and effect. You can put as a title, for example, not studying for an exam. And you can have the students put a cause for not studying for the exam, and then what is the effect for them not studying for their exam. So the students can either draw or type. I like to have a combination of the two. There's also a pretty popular one that you could use. Let's see, I believe it's for end of lesson. Yes. So this template here is kind of a catch-all for subject or content areas. It's really well, it works really well with any subject area because the basic premise is, oh, okay, close, let's try that again. Basically, you have two different sections that the students could either type or draw on. So here we go, draw or type two things you learned in today's lesson. It doesn't have to be that general. You can make it very specific. So for example, let's say this was a science class. You can say draw and type out what an atom is. So you could direct them for number one, for the section one on the left, you could have them draw out a specific atom or any atom they want. And then on number two, you could have them write out the definition for an atom or describe what atom that is. So that, like I said, is kind of a catch-all slide, works with pretty much any content area. And then once you're done, just to give you an example, this is obviously not done, but you go to present lesson. Looks like you've been locked out. Okay, like I said, the only thing here that's a little finicky is you have to reauthorize every now and then. Just make sure it's the same account. And then when this is launching the presentation, you'll have the students either on an iPad or on their Chromebooks or computers that the school has gone ahead to assign to the students. And then they get this code here. They go to joinpd.com and then they enter the code that it generates for you every time you present a lesson. And it'll have waiting for students, and it'll actually give you a real-time count of who's logged in. That way you can take like a visual estimate of how many students are left, walk around to have the students raise their hands if they're not logged in, and you can go ahead and help them out with whatever they're doing. It says no students connected, but we can go ahead and close this window since we have no students. And as you go through your slides, you can go ahead and lock the screen after they've answered fact or opinion or whatever interaction you're having them do. It locks everyone's screen, doesn't let them interact with the thing anymore. And then you go to show responses. Here there are no responses and they are locked, but you'd have a scroll menu of the different responses to each slide, and you can go ahead and go through them with each student or as a class. And then you simply unlock and click off on the show responses, and you go to the next slide. And you get also, if students log out by accident or you have students come in late or they come back and they want to come back into your session, your code is always going to be up here on the top right hand corner, and you can expand it if you have multiple students that were logged out or for whatever reason need to log back in, and then you exit that. So yeah, that is how you use Pear Deck for add-on, that Pear Deck, the add-on for Google Slides.